Hello, mathematical literacy learners. Welcome to question 2. We're going to look at welding company produces burglar frames for windows and doors. In order to complete one frame, one welder needs 8 hours. The graph below shows the time taken versus the number of welders to complete the welding of a safety frame. Let's look at the graph. There we go. So let's look at the 8 hours they've given us. They said 8 hours takes 8 welders. 8 hours. There's 8 hours. It takes one welder, and half that would be 4 hours, and that will take 2 welders. And half that would be 2 hours, would take 4 welders. You see that? To make one frame, right? This is the results for each frame. Okay, so let's just look at this. Remember that the x-axis or the horizontal line is the independent variable, right? And this one there would be then the dependent variable, just in case they ask which one is the dependent, which one is the independent variable. All right. So if you see the graph, if you read the graph, you'll find that when the number of welders increase, see that they increase to 3, what happens to the hours taken? When there's 1, there's 8. When there's 2, there's 4. You see how the number of welders increase while the time taken in hours decreases, right? So this is indirect proportion. So this is indirect proportion. You can even see by the shape of the graph, right? Okay. So number 1 says, determine the time taken for 2 welders to complete one frame. You can calculate this and you can read it from the graph. See, it says there at the top, where is it? 8 hours, 1 welder, 1 frame. So 2 welders, 8 divided by 2 welders will give you 1 frame. So you can calculate that, but you can also read it from the graph. Okay, so 2.1. Okay, so we said we're going to calculate. It says there that 1 welder makes 1 frame in 8 hours, right? So therefore, I'm going to say 2 welders will be 8 divided by 2 welders. That would be 8 divided by 2. That would be 4 hours for 2 welders to make 1 frame. 2 welders, 1 frame, right? But you can actually read this from the graph. I'll show you. See, they said, how long will it take 2 welders? There's 2 welders there. There's 2. I go to the graph line, and then reach the graph line, I go left, and it says 4 hours. So you could have just written 4 hours and get the 2 full marks. Okay, now the other one says the manager has 20 welders available. Calculate the number of frames they will complete in 4 hours. All right, again, 2.2. When the inverse proportion, I like to write everything because then I want to see it. So 1 welder makes 1 frame in 8 hours, right? 2 welders will make 1 frame in 2 hours, right? Just to see, I'm trying to see it in my own hours. Now I have 20 welders, right? And I don't know how many frames and it take in 4 hours, right? Okay, so I'm going to try and separate this and say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, right? So in the same 4 hours, right? 2 welders will make 1 frame, 2 welders will make 1 frame, 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 right? Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the answer is 20 welders make 10 frames in 4 hours. There. Done.